Hi, thanks for joining us for episode number 165 in our series of 1,000 Evidences for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This one tells about what the Book of Mormon prophesies about the future of the United States. First of all, the prophecy of Priestcrafts in the latter days, one of many prophecies in the Book of Mormon, is that it asserts that the inhabitants of this land of America in the latter days will be a nation filled with all manner of priestcrafts. The Book of Mormon defines priestcraft as the practice in which men preach and set themselves up for a light unto the world, that they may get gain and the praise of the world. That's in 2 Nephi chapter 26, verse 29. This prophecy is especially remarkable since in 1830 there were no multimillionaire televangelists living in luxurious mansions, owning large jets, and supported by mesmerized masses who praise them with monetary gifts. Since then, those who proclaim to preach the gospel can, in a very literal sense, be seen as a light unto the world and can gain the praise of the world. The humble preachers of 1830 could not have fulfilled this prophecy. They could have been a light unto only a small congregation in a small part of the country, but had no means at their disposal to preach to the world. They may have been able to reach hundreds in print, but not the billions in the world by way of internet and television. Today, the satellite broadcasting systems have enabled preachers to be simultaneously heard the world over. The Book of Mormon also prophesies of lyings, deceits, and hypocrisy of the people of this land in the future, which is our day. The Book of Mormon prophesied that in the latter days, the Gentiles who would take this land from the Lamanites or the Native Americans would be filled with all manner of lyings and of deceits and of mischiefs and all manner of hypocrisy. That's in 1 Nephi chapter 13, verse 14, and 3 Nephi chapter 16, verse 10. An example of the lying and deceitfulness of the Gentiles is the fact that the United States, the melting pot of the Gentile nations, broke scores of treaties and promises with the Native Americans during the great Western expansion of the 1800s, robbing them of their homelands. And an illustration of the hypocrisy of the Gentiles, in a collective sense, is the manner in which the United States government treated the saints. The U.S. government denied the Latter-day Saints constitutional protection against mob violence that was being unmercifully poured out upon them by their fellow citizens. A few years later, after the Mormon battalion had honorably served their country by enduring the longest U.S. military march in history, the federal government sent a large army of U.S. troops to Utah to threaten the saints with war. This was done in response to false reports of a Mormon uprising or a Mormon kingdom being set up within the borders of the United States. The Book of Mormon contains another prophecy that the Gentiles in this land will be filled with all manner of whoredoms and of secret combinations. That's in 3 Nephi chapter 16, verse 10. This was fulfilled in 1830 when the Book of Mormon was published. No mortal could have known to what great depths of immorality the people of this nation would eventually fall. In Joseph Smith's day, only the Lord and the prophets to whom he communicated knew that adultery and fornication, which were looked upon with abhorrence and disgust by the majority, would actually become popular and generally accepted among the future public. No one knew then that the little-known perversion of homosexuality would in the future become tolerated and openly defended as an acceptable alternative lifestyle. No one knew in 1830 what pornography was. Even after pornography was invented, no one would have believed that peddlers of smut could have become millionaires in a Christian nation such as America. Before the telephone was invented, no one thought of obscene phone calls or dial-up porn. No one in 1830 could have foreseen that the future legalization of abortion would generate such an upsurge in extramarital sex. The Book of Mormon also prophesied that the Gentiles would be filled with all manner of murders. That's in 3 Nephi chapter 16, verse 10. The United States of America, the gathering place for Gentiles from all other nations, inflicted terrible slaughters and massacres upon the Native Americans all across the continent with the Great Western Migration, a tragedy which President Brigham Young rightly called murder. See, for example, his rebuke against an apostate Mormon who had killed an Indian in the Journal of Discourses, volume 11, page 263. Many saints were also murdered in compliance with the corrupt governor's order. In 1838, Governor Lilburn Boggs of Missouri issued an official extermination order against the Latter-day Saints living in his state, resulting in such unmerciful slaughters as the Hans Mill Massacre. That can be found in History of the Church, volume 3, page 175, and in the Doctrine and Covenants, section 135. Many other murders were also committed in the name of government-instituted wars. For example, hundreds of thousands of civilians were unmercifully killed at the dropping of atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan. President J. Reuben Clark of the First Presidency of the Church described this as the crowning savagery of the war. He added that the worst of this atomic bomb tragedy is that not only did the people of the United States not rise up in protest against this savagery, not only did it not shock us to read of this wholesale destruction of men, women, and children and cripples, but that it actually drew from the nation a large and general approval of this fiendish butchery. You can read about this in the conference report of October in 1946, pages 86 through 88. You can also see President Young's condemnation of war in Doctrine and Covenants, or Journal of Discourses, volume 7, page 137. Yet another subtler manner of murder is the unholy slaughter of countless millions of innocent children through abortion, which is not only considered legal and moral by the Gentiles, but is actually subsidized through government assistance, which they receive from taxation from the people. The Book of Mormon also prophesies about the formation of secret combinations. Published in 1830, the Book of Mormon prophesied that in the last days, evil men would swear oaths in secret pacts that would be the cause of death to many people in seeking to overthrow the freedom of all lands, nations, and countries in their attempt to get power and gain. That's in Ether chapter 8, verses 22 through 25. Down through history, there have always been countries that have attempted to conquer other lands, but they have not operated within secret combinations in the same manner as was prophesied in the Book of Mormon. Many passages of the Book of Mormon make reference to these same types of secret combinations, which do not always overthrow their cities by frontal attacks in formal warfare, but secretly infiltrate into the government and among the people with all manner of wickedness. That's in Ether chapter 8, verse 16. Such are the tactics of communism, organized crime, Islamic terrorist organizations, gangs, and the drug cartels. Who can deny that since the Book of Mormon was first published, a number of secret combinations similar to those described in the Book of Mormon have emerged in various parts of the world? These have caused death, destruction, and all manner of wickedness in their unrighteous quest for money and power. The prophet Mormon wrote that the Book of Mormon would come forth in a day when there shall be great pollutions upon the face of the earth. That's in Mormon chapter 8, verse 31. This prophecy has literal as well as figurative fulfillments. In our modern day, when the Book of Mormon is being carried forth to the world, we can scarcely watch the evening news or read the newspaper without learning of pollution. Conservationists lament the chemical pollution from toxic wastes in the rivers and oceans and the air of the world. And almost every large city is turning to extreme measures in order to cut down on automobile emissions and other causes of air pollution. The Environmental Protection Agency is enforcing more restrictive regulations on American enterprises than ever before in an effort to reduce industrial pollution, even at the cost of many thousands of jobs. Radioactive pollutions from nuclear accidents such as Chernobyl and toxic wastes from 50 years of nuclear weapon development and tests certainly represent a type of pollution that would fulfill the prophecy of Mormon. Even more devastating is the contamination that fills the airwaves and computer networks with pornography and violence, which pollutes the human mind in the name of free speech and home entertainment. Not only have these evils defiled the air, but with the advent of satellite broadcasting, they have also polluted the heavens and our homes. We could go on with many more examples of Book of Mormon prophecies, but as you can clearly see, there's no question about the prophetic nature of the Book of Mormon. And this demonstrates that it is true, it is the Word of God, amazing, remarkable. Yet there are some who cannot see the obvious truths of the Book of Mormon. They prefer to focus on doubts and dwell on misconceptions. Don't miss the many more exciting episodes yet to come. And remember, call, don't fall. Call on the God of truth and light. Don't fall for the fiction and fantasy of the peddlers of deception.